We are back. Empty Netters Puckline News covering the playoffs, brought to you by BetMGM. We're back in the bar after an insane weekend. We asked the hockey gods politely for some game sevens, and they gave us two of them. And guess what? They were two of the sexiest, horniest, most electric game sevens we have ever seen. Who has it better than us, dude? Who has it better than hockey fans?
Absolutely nobody. We even had a buddy who likes hockey, who used to play hockey with us, watching, and he watched both game sevens with us, and he was like, those were some of the sickest games I've ever seen. And I wanted to go, dude, you're just missing out. Playoff hockey is some of the sickest shit you've ever seen, and you haven't been paying attention. But admittedly, I was like, those were particularly sick.
They were particularly sick.
Those were particularly sick.
I feel like every single year we always go, playoff hockey, it's the best thing in the world. And I want to be like, that's how it is. That's how it always is.
Yep.
But those were especially phenomenal games. Cannot believe what we just saw. There's so much to get into. We're only covering two games over the weekend.
Three games.
Two series.
Yeah.
Only covering two series from over the weekend because that's all we had. But we're going to have plenty to talk about with these four teams. And then we are also, I know it's not on the ticker, but we're also going to get into the Panthers-Toronto preview because they start off round two tonight. But for now, let's get into Game 7, Avs, Stars. The Stars move on in truly dramatic fashion.
Dude, Mikko fucking Rantanen, dude.
Holy shit, buddy. It goes back to Game 6 too.
Yeah.
Even though they lost, it goes all the way back to Game 6.
I didn't know who I genuinely wanted in this. Sometime you picked Colorado too, right?
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
We picked Colorado, but like you've said before, who we pick doesn't mean who I'm rooting for all the time and whatever. And also it can change. Like sometimes things happen in the series and you're like, wow, I'm falling in love with this storyline or whatever. I think I picked Colorado because I think they're better. And early in the series, 100% I was rooting for Colorado just because of the Landy stuff was so awesome, which it remains awesome. But, I think that was just like such an emotional storyline for me. And something about Dallas being so resilient with guys out during this series. I was like, before the Game 7, I looked at you and I was like, who do you want? Like, genuinely, who do you want?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I think Dallas. Like, I think. But it's weird. They always say that thing, you flip a coin and you'll know who you're rooting for in midair. So I was like, I don't know. I think Dallas, but this one's brutal. And then Dallas looked fucking lifeless, dude. Like,
oh my gosh.
After having so much fight in games in what's the fucking Colorado ranks? Not Pepsi anymore. It should be Pepsi. Ball. Games in ball. They go down after out shooting them 1-0. That's go to bed time, dude. Go to sleep, Steve. But instead they fight back every game this series, except for, I guess, because Game 1, they actually fought. It was just bad breaks. That scoreline was bullshit. Game 4, I guess, that was like the one game where I didn't see a lot of Dallas pushback until Game fucking 7 at home when they're getting ragdolled and doing dick. And I was like, oh my God, dude. But finally I come all the way around to rooting for Dallas, and they're going to do this to me, dude.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe the start.
I had a super similar journey. As you said, I'm so glad you pointed that out. Who we pick in series does not necessarily mean who we're rooting for. We're just trying to be good at our job.
Yeah.
And we fucking suck at that sometimes. But for us, we picked Colorado, or at least I picked Colorado because I thought Dallas might have been too banged up, similar to some of the other series. I started rooting for Dallas the second they went up 3-2. Because of doing what they were doing with the injuries they have, your best forward and your best defenseman, I was like, you deserve to win. You deserve to win if you've gotten it to this point. So to then see, again, I know they lost in Game 6, but to see Mikko Rantanen completely come alive and then go into this Game 7 after they started a little slow and then do what he did, it's the most devastating and rude thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, the first one was such a fucking nip. And I didn't even notice the first few times how clean it was. And it came completely against the run of play. Like, when Colorado went up 2-0, I was genuinely like, this game is over. Dude, giving up the shorty was even like, oh, fuck. And then going up 2-0, I was like, this game is fucking over. Randy comes through and absolutely snipes one. And I'm like, all right, now you got a ball game. And then the wraparound, which I know wasn't actually wrapped all the way around, but just that's what you do. Actually, I have a question for you, Dan. I've never played goalie, so I don't know. But I swear, dude, when players do that, like coming down on their strong side, fake shot, push to go even wider, goalies sell so hard that they're going to get beat on that angle. Like, I genuinely think if you're playing goalie correctly, and here come the goalies telling me I'm a fucking idiot because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Which is okay, though, because we are all,
but if you're playing goalie and you're on your angle and the dude shot fakes and pushes you wide, I think if you were playing the first shot correctly, all you really need is like one of these.
Yeah.
But they go like this. The fucking chaos in front of the net, dude. Like, you either get wrapped around or they just throw it in front and like all hell breaks loose.
I know.
Which is what happened. But what a moment, dude, when you realized it was him and he did that shit and we were tied.
Truly, man, like I like you keep saying, it was just such an electric game. And that tying moment, at that moment where you like, Dallas did it. Like, they've got it. I felt the tides change in that moment.
So personally, we're going to get to that exact topic in the Jets Blues game also. To me, the next couple minutes, I think is so important. That's usually when I make my judgment. In fact, Leafs Sens game 6.
Yeah.
We talked about with Hockey Illuminati, that response from Toronto.
100%.
It's that moment. So I was like, all hell has broken loose, but let's see the Colorado pushback. Because if they get not even a goal, but if you're just like pemmed in your own end for the next 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, you're dead. You're 100% dead.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, dude, huge chance. Oh, Colorado 2-on-1 just missed. That's when I'm like, oh, actually, this woke them up, and we'll see. So Dallas ended up scoring so fast that we didn't even get a chance to assess the response. Yeah. But I wasn't, to answer your question directly, I wasn't immediately like, Dallas has won.
Yeah, no, but you're right. We are kind of just sitting there like, we're like, oh, no, I wonder how this is going to bang. And you're like, oh my fucking God, what the hell happened? But it was those, I mean, similar to what I was saying, you have these injuries, you lose that first game pretty clearly.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you're up 3-2 in the series while you're shortchanged. And I was like, holy shit. And then this game, you go down 2-0. It just that 2-0 start from Colorado felt so Colorado. Felt so.
Oh my God, yes.
It was like, all right, we're not going to give you any breathing room. Just want to let you know you never had a chance. You thought you were in this, you were always dead. But then Dallas just said, "Au contraire, mon frère," and they bang in 2 goals and then get another power play goal. After that 3-2. I feel like you saw the life get sucked out of Colorado in such a significant way. At the airplane hangar, in American Airlines, you got the fucking green lights everywhere. People are going fucking berserk. And I was just like, okay, you've done it. You have taken this shit over in a big way, Dallas. Big way.
Let's talk about that penalty. I got incepted by Dennis in Raleigh about Jack Drury. Like Dennis, who does the Canes radio show that we've been on a few times and you've seen the clips for. Dennis loves Jack, or he probably still has some love for him, but when he was a Cane, he loved Jack Drury.
Loved him.
And it made me be like, yeah, Jack Drury is the man. So I've always loved him too. He gets sent over as a piece of that deal, kind of like the forgotten piece. Not forgotten, but you know what I'm saying? Like the ancillary piece. And I was like, he's going to shine there, dude. He's going to be a star. They've already so deep down the middle, and then they get to add Jack Drury. I was devastated that it was him and that this game was going to be decided this way. Yeah. You accepted the call more than I did because he's grabbing Sags 100%. He's putting he gets to the front. They're trying to get position and he's like falling over and he puts his hand on Sags 100%. I'll even go as far as to say that is a penalty in the regular season. But I just think in game 7 with 4 minutes left,
I know
that is a nothing burger to me.
It sucks. Not jumping ahead, but in the Blues Jets overtime, there was like 7 penalties that they just didn't call. And we were like, good. Bravo. Well done, refs. So I am a big believer in you got to swallow the whistle. But I know a lot of people hate that take from us. A lot of people are like, a penalty is a penalty. Fuck you. And I'm like, well, I get it. But
I just can't have it there, dude. I can't have it there.
I agree.
So they go to the power play, and then another kind of unnecessary chirp because I thought he played great. That goal was gross, right? Yeah. Beautiful play, beautiful pass from Duchene.
Yeah.
And that's actually a harder shot by Wyatt than people think. Because there's like literally this far to get that through. But dude, Mackenzie Blackwood, who again had a great series and was a great pickup, and we'll get into their roster in a second. That is at least the second, and I think I can even remember a third power play goal that the Stars have scored on the Avs that a pass goes across him damn near through the paint. And I'm like, dude, fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me 1,000 fucking times. I'm the fool, dude.
Yes.
You need to go to school on that and know that that's their play. Like, you've been burned there.
Man.
It's Wyatt every time, too. He's over there. Like, put your fucking paddle down.
That is the one. Last year, Kings-Oilers, we were losing our minds because the Oilers were just automatic. I mean, the Oilers were automatic on their power play all playoffs last year. And it is infuriating when you see a team just do the same thing over and over again, and you can't stop it. Because usually what we see in the playoffs is a team's peeper gets hot against a team, and then it cools down because they go, well, I mean, we've seen it now 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
The fact that this just kept on happening was pretty tough for Colorado.
It's crazy, dude.
Pretty tough for Colorado. So now we're going to get into both these teams a little bit. But for Colorado, you cannot beat the Stars now. This is the narrative that you're living with.
What's that Nate quote?
I believe he said, I don't know what we do from here.
Yeah.
But he's like, I mean, we can't beat these guys. He was like, they have 2 huge injuries. We can't beat these guys yet again. And you've got DeBoer now 9-0 in game 7s. Bednar is now 0-4.
God damn, dude.
In game 7s. Yep. And I'm pretty sure it's like 7 straight elimination losses for them, or not elimination losses, but like they're in this weird sticking point. This Colorado Avalanche team that we have said is so good. They've been so unlucky with Landy and Nichushkin out. And now here they are. They make these crazy moves. They bring in Coyle. They bring in Nelson. They got Natchez, obviously, and the big trade. They get Landy back. They bring EJ back for vibes. And boom, first round loss. So getting into this team and this roster, I think something was very glaringly obvious for me in this series. Cale Makar was bad.
Dude.
Cale Makar was bad in this series. Man. It sucks to say because, he's on the score sheet. He's got points here and there, and that's because he is Cale Makar. He's always going to do that. But when Cale Makar is bad, what have we said a million times? Devon Taves allows Cale to be what Cale is. That's why Devon is such a good partner to him. That's why he's also such a great player. But when Cale is bad, it stands to reason maybe Devon's not exactly on his game. And I think that was kind of the case. He was still very strong, but it shows that their D is not that good, dude.
Yeah.
You have maybe the best pairing in the NHL.
Right. Chelios loves them.
In those two. But when they're not playing well, I think you go, oh, wait, maybe Colorado's D is not that strong. Mm-hmm. And I think that this summer has to be a huge, huge point of emphasis on what you do to fix this team. Because people are going like, what do you want us to do? Like, what shakeup can we do? Look at how active we were at the deadline. You traded Mikko Rantanen. That's not enough of a shakeup.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say maybe not.
Well, also, I think we and most people in the hockey world are like, the Avs are so deep. That's the deepest team I've ever seen. And it's because we are literally only looking at the forwards.
Yeah.
Which they are. That's the deepest group of forwards I've ever seen that the Avs put together this year. And Dallas is right there too. But that went healthy. But that is incredible. But dude, you are right. And I think this is the rub. It's if you go, our D is barely good enough when Cale and Devon are playing well. That's still okay because you have Cale and Devon. But it does put a lot of pressure on their game because if they don't play well, you're in trouble. Yeah. And all the other teams we're talking about, every time we do this and you're like, who's the favorites? You're like, God, Vegas, heavy D, rolling lines, good goalie. Yep. It's usually that's where we're looking this time of year. And it is funny that we kind of ignore that about the Avalanche team. Like no one ever brings up that as an issue. And
Hundo P.
It was.
Hundo P. Series. So now looking at Dallas, how about this, dude? How about this?
Dude, it's incredible.
A little bit of a stat. So many people looked at that trade, including us, the initial one.
Yep.
And we were like, God damn, dude, Colorado won that trade. And it is now wild to say that Carolina and Dallas are still in the playoffs and Colorado is not. And I believe in these playoffs, Mikko Rantanen has 11 points and everyone involved in the trades for him have 10.
Dude, it's I can't believe it. I thought the Canes were going to get rinsed. I thought they got so much from Dallas. And then Dallas really put their nuts on the table because if they didn't get anything from Rantanen, you lost that trade horribly.
Yeah, definitely.
Gets a ton from Rantanen, gets a Game 7 Hattie, 4.4 Game 6, Game 7.
Yeah.
And Colorado, dude, like Natchez, all the Canes fans, dude, every single Canes fan goes, when that happened, they go, yeah, and, oh my God, look how fast Natchez is on Colorado. Put him with Nate. Holy shit, he's elevated. Natchez in 3-on-3 is insane. Natchez, Kale, and Nate on overtime, blah, blah, blah. They also said in the same breath, Natchez disappears in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The game shrinks. He doesn't have enough space. He can't really do what he used to do. What do you have, 1 goal in a 7-game series? One goal in a 7-game series while Mikko Rantanen fucking
fist fucking you.
So
holding your head back.
Yeah.
And just
so the Colorado, I think this series loss is embarrassing for a lot of reasons we've talked about many times with Dallas injuries and stuff, and all the retooling outside of the Rantanen injury, all the moves you did.
Yeah.
I think it's embarrassing already, but to have Natchez, to have overreacted, in my opinion, to whatever the Rantanen demands were, and think you couldn't possibly get something done, to ship him out of town, and obviously you didn't want him to end up at Dallas, but to see him spin back to Dallas and murder you while the guy you brought in didn't really do shit, this could not have gone much worse.
You're totally right. I do want to give Curtis a shout out in the chat. Said the possibility that Kale is hurt. He had a hand wrap going on. Absolutely, Curtis wanted to bring that up. Again, saying he was bad is not shit talking Kale, because in the playoffs it can mean a multitude of things.
Yep.
And I do believe he was probably carrying an injury because Kale McCarr just doesn't fall apart like that.
Yep.
Going back to Rantanen, I mean, dude, he is owed so many apologies.
Yeah.
So many apologies from so many people who were chirping him when he was in Carolina, chirping his start in Dallas. And you saw in these last 2 games, this is the player that he is. Mm-hmm. He is a world beater. He is one of the best players in the league. And scoring a hat trick and sealing the icing on the cake of an empty netter to dead your old team, to dead all your pals. Mm-hmm. Godfather moment, dude. It was truly remarkable. But I am going to say this, and that's not so much a but, it's more of an and. Dallas, you got to win the cup now.
Dude, I know.
I am dead ass, bro.
I know.
Like Dallas, we always say sometimes when you have the first round matchup that is this intense, you're playing this good of a team. We called this the Western Conference Final. This is possibly the best matchup in the playoffs. And so often we see someone win and people go, they're going to be too tired. They just went to war with a team. That can't be the case here.
You cannot.
You just battled with this Colorado team. There are so many storylines with Duchene, with Rantanen, with DeBoer and Bednar's records. The fact that these 2 teams have played in the first round in the past, and you've won. You have won, and now we have DeBoer talking about Robo and Miro. When are we going to get these guys back? He says it might be game 1, might be game 3, might be game 5, but they are coming back in this series.
I know, but I fucking hated that response so much,
Me too.
Dude, because the same fucking thing they said about Miro. They were like this. We think Miro's going to miss game 1 of round 1.
Yeah.
But we feel pretty good. And I said to you then, I was like, guarantee we don't see him once. And right now, dude, he's like this. Well, I believe we're going to see them. I don't know if it's game 1, game 3, game 5. And I'm like, okay, so they're fucked still.
Yeah. I'm going to put my chips on the table and say Haskin is playing game 1.
God, dude.
I just feel like we've seen him in a
close.
game speed jersey at practice since before game 1 of this series.
Dude. God,
Robertson is the one I'm like, yeah, he could need more time. Like he got hurt in game 82, right?
Yeah.
So I think Haskin is going to be back, and that is such a fucking game changer.
Oh, dude,
it's
your leading goal scorer. Your leading goal scorer and your best defenseman who does everything for you.
Yeah.
Especially power play. Like, holy fuck, dude. And I'm with you, man, because even the comments section of our Avs of the post of the empty netter in that game was like, oh, classic Dallas. Like they do this and then get ready to choke. And it's mad fans saying that in the moment, but I also hear them in a way where I'm like, here comes another Oiler ricochet shot. But I'm like, you cannot make it to the Western Conference Finals against the fucking Oilers and just lose because you're like, I was tired from the hard teams I played before that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this has to be it, dude.
Yeah.
You have to go.
So I feel strongly that this is the run, right? This is that we've said a few times.
Yep.
Time is now, Dallas. And to me, this is a massive, massive green light. No pun intended.
Yep.
Of you guys got to go straight to the cup now.
Quick bullet point finals on this one.
Yeah, we've also got some breaking news.
I just saw that in the chat. Is that real?
Breaking news is happening. The chat's going on. We're getting texts. We're getting nonsense. But we'll circle
real?
back.
Say it. Is that real?
We'll circle back. Breaking news in the chat. It sounds like Rob Blake is out as the LA Kings GM. They have mutually parted ways. We always love that phrasing.
Yep.
But looks like Blakey is going to be gonzo as the GM of the LA Kings. A lot of Kings fans wanted that.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big, big topic of discussion. We don't need to get into it now, but
it's a tough one, dude.
I
feel badly for him, but this is something that, frankly, I think the Bruins could look to, where it just goes, if these are the results you're getting and you feel it's because of the roster you have.
Yeah.
Someone is in charge of the roster.
Yeah.
It's kind of that simple math sometimes, but I feel bad. And that's a tough fire, by the way, for that organization.
Oh yeah.
That's a tough fire.
Team legend.
Tough fire.
But tight with President Luke Robitaille. That's a tough one.
Yep.
But Blake, the Kings Twitter just announced it. Rob Blake is out of the LA Kings organization.
Okay, so some final bullet points on this one. I thought Otter had a good series. And I think he just needs to keep building on that. I thought Mackenzie Blackwood had a good series.
I agree.
And I think if you're Colorado, honestly, you are so fine. To your point, I'd look to D maybe because they've got some roster stuff, right? Yeah. Like Brock, free agent. Some of these guys coming up soon. I'll be interested to see the moves they make to do this because that's going to be a very frustrated team and front office. Landy, this could be just what he needed. Because as magical as an insane return into immediate cup run would have been, that's hard. And there was no guarantees on that. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe if you were going to lose, I'm almost glad he just lost now, got his taste of it. Save the knee. I don't need you to go through 3 more grueling rounds just to not win a cup.
Yeah.
So get back on the mend. He comes back full off season, full season next year. And I love that for him.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Maybe that helped.
So now we move on to the probably wildest Game 7 of the weekend. Getting into Jets Blues. Holy shit. We talked on the Friday Live. We dropped on our pod. If Helly was leaky in Game 6 in St. Louis, what the hell do you do? And boy, was he leaky.
Yep.
And they forced a Game 7. And then we got to enjoy that Game 7 last night, Sunday night. And it was just pure cinema. Pure cinema.
Dude, you're so right, though, about the Game 6 thing because, man, we've said this, it felt like Boston, Vancouver all over again. And you know what happened in Boston, Vancouver Game 7, where it was like you finally break through.
Yeah.
And that appeared to be exactly what was happening 4 shots into the fucking game. But man, the Game 6 thing is the Game 6 heli performance is a nightmare, is an actual nightmare. We made a million jokes. Get on the plane, pull up kayak, dude. Smell ya Monday.
Yeah.
And that happening again was so bad. And I swear, dude, Heli looked fucking miserable before Game 7. They put the cameras on him a few times. And I know he's just like, I'm focused. But I'm like, no, you're not, dude. There were demons playing dodgeball in his brain that entire build-up to that game, dude. I felt horrible for him. And then the first shot on goal goes in Game 7.
One shot, one goal.
Go home, dude.
One shot, one goal. And then what was so nuts, man, you're up 1-0 as if you're the Blues. And everyone's now going, Helly, holy shit. And you're up in Winterfell. You've got the white wall buzzing, but still, it's getting nerve-wracking. Then, dude, PL Joseph gets Joseph gets whacked open ice.
Yep.
pops right back up, picks up a puck in the neutral zone, steps over the blue line, throws a weak wrister on net, in. And it was like 2 goals in 4 shots.
4 shots. Yep.
And I'm like, I popped on the IG and I was like, you got to pull him, right? I mean,
Literally, dude.
Literally, if he's just going 2 goals again, what are we doing here?
I couldn't fathom the start, and it's Jets fans' worst nightmare. It's Jets players' worst nightmare. Dude, you know what that's like, bro, when you're playing with a goalie who's having issues like that, and that's how this game starts. Because before the game, you go, doesn't matter, bro. You've been sick at home. Game 7, just lock in tonight, and we fucking got you. Everything's fine. 2 of the first 4 shots go in, and you on the bench, without fail, go like this. We are fucked. We are so fucked. We don't even know how fucked we are.
Yeah.
That is how you feel in that game.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That Matthew Joseph goal goes. My mistake, as I said, PO for a second. It's early, but that Matthew Joseph goal goes in, and I was freaked. I thought we had this written in the stars of just like another disaster. I thought he was going to get pulled, and it was just going to be pure misery. And I think that leads into a conversation that you and I had.
Yes.
This was another series that I didn't know who I was rooting for. I've been very vocal that I have hatred for the St. Louis Blues after they destroyed the Bruins in 2019 in the Stanley Cup. But we're big Monty guys. Monty's the coach now. This team is so young and fun, and watching them rip after Monty joined has been electric. But in doing this job and in being around fan bases, witnessing teams, we have kind of realized that if there's any team, any sort of struggling Canadian fan base that we are going to get behind, it's the Jets.
And it's always been the Jets.
Dude, the Jets are a smaller town. So many people talk shit, say that no one wants to go there. No one wants to sign up in Winnipeg. No one wants to be a part of that community. They stink. They're frauds. They're not real. This, that, and the other. And the end of the day, their fans have been nothing but incredible to us.
Yep.
The only interaction that isn't purely pleasant with Jets fans is when Jets fans are asking us to just talk about the Jets more.
Yeah,
to give
actually,
them
that's
more
so
love.
true.
That's literally the
Yep.
it's the only time that Jets fans could ever
So
say
true.
anything other than just being awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's from there is so proud to be from there. All the players who are up there completely buy in. Their team is so fun. They have unbelievable players. And again, they're another smaller town team up in Canada where they go, we've got nothing here except this hockey team. And their fans are actually nice. They're actually incredible. And they aren't delusional and assholes. They're like, it sucks when we lose.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to win. And I think that we got to get behind it.
Dude, I have never been more impassioned about an idea than this when we were discussing it. Every time the Jets lose, I go, God, I feel so bad for them. And that's kind of it. I just move on. Vegas knocked them out. And I was like, I wish they had got one at home, but whatever. Yeah. Last year, Colorado, I think last year, right? And I'm like, man, Helly, that was fucking brutal. I hate to see it. Feel bad for the kid. American goalie.
Yeah.
AI's on that team. Their superstars are guys that I'm sneaky obsessed with.
Yeah.
You know, I've been banging the Kyle Connor drum for 1,000 years. Right. So they have megastars that aren't appreciated like megastars. They've got our American hope and goal. There's so much cool shit there, dude. That and it's like I was joking with you. All the Oils fans are like, we're oil men. You know, that's the thing they got going on.
Yeah.
So I am declaring myself a Rocket Man for the Jets, and I'm going to be pumping Elton John Rocket Man. And listen, we'll do our predictions we're going to record tonight. They'll be in the pod tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying I'm going to pick the Jets. I'm just telling you, I officially have love for the Jets in a way that I am a Jets fan now, and I am a Rocket Man, and I welcome all other Rocket men and women. And I hope they welcome me. I hope the current Rocket men and women who have been in the trenches forever are willing to have someone strap into the spacesuit and go to fucking Mars with them, dude. Because this team, this tiny Canadian team, deserves our love.
I love what you're doing here. I really do. And I thought I had something great when I declared when Winnipeg Winterfell.
Yeah.
And it's the wall.
Yeah.
You were at
people like that, dude.
Watchers on the wall.
Yep.
I hope the Winnipeggers love that, but you declaring yourself a Rocket Man is one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Do you think people can hear this if I play this? Because this team Oh, it's going to do our YouTube. Never
I was like,
mind.
it's you.
Well, it was going to be the song too, but they would both play.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe I can mute this.
You can mute that for sure.
Yeah, dude, mute this.
Mute that.
Play
Get
this.
Rocket Man buzzing.
Play this.
Do you have like a speech as you do it?
No. I just kind of wanted to hear it.
Get it up. Get it up by the mic.
This is what I'm talking about, dude.
Well, this is where we get sued by Universal Music.
Woo!
Wow.
And dude, also somebody last night, it was mom, dude. Our parents were in town, as I think everybody knows. Mom last night goes, "Come on, Pegs," about the Jets. And I was like, well, they're the Jets. They're not the Pegs. But then I was like, actually, Pegs is a fucking sick thing to call
they're
them.
peggers, dude.
They're pegging them, dude. They are pegging the fucking Blues last night.
Yeah,
so come on,
Jets,
Pegs. Come on, Rocket Man.
The fans, we're all Rocket men and women. We're going to peg the competition up in Winterfell at the wall. What more could you ask for?
God, that was awesome.
How crushing was this for the Blues? Because when you look at it, they're a wild card team. You're playing the President's Trophy team. You had such a turnaround. You had really no business winning the series. And you know what? I love that did you go 7-2?
No, dude, I went 5.
Yeah.
Or keep going.
I was all over this series. I was like, we could have a shaky Hellebuck. I think this Blues team is pesky at home. And then, Jesus Christ, what did we get, dude?
Did you think you were all over the series after 2 games, though? Because after 2 games, I was all over the series. The Blues are going to wag. The Jets are going to rag all these guys.
I don't think I was all over it, but I was like, we'll see what happens in St. Louis.
Yep.
There was nothing about me that was like, this is a sweep.
Okay.
But I wasn't all over it. But then when St. Louis won that first game, I was like, I am all over it.
I think I was prepared. You know how sports writers will always have those stories where it's like the Falcons are up on the Pats 1,000-0, and they have a whole article written, and then they have to throw it away because they're like, oh, fuck, this happened. I had a whole thing prepped for this where this series is even more of a puke job than the Kings.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, dude, you are up 2-0 on this team that you are way better than.
Yeah.
And I know they've been hot, whatever, but like the fact that this Jets team was down 2 goals with 2 minutes left in game 7 is a humiliation.
Dude.
Where I was like, dude, if St. Louis won the first 2 or even split in Winnipeg, I'm like, okay, you're in a dogfight. This series should have been a sweep. And then you just got popped once in St. Louis, and then you completely fell apart. So I was ready to be like, you are outside your mind.
Yeah. A few things to say. One, hate this for Monty. Feel terrible for Monty not because, oh no, it's another playoff loss, because this was so impressive.
Incredible.
It's because they did so much. It's the turnaround that this Blues team has under Monty is unbelievable. We talk about young players sometimes. The Habs, when they lost to Washington, I went on this soliloquy about how beautiful their future is. And St. Louis, you've got something special as well. I think with Monty there long term, I think a lot of players are going to want to sign there, are going to want to extend there. So that's great.
It is Monty. It's weird because I wouldn't have agreed with you.
Yeah.
Until you know what I mean? Even in the previews, I was like, St. Louis isn't that good. They've got a couple good players, bright players.
It's
but I'm
Monty.
like, whatever. And now I'm like, you're right. Man.
Look at Jimmy Snuggs too, coming into the playoffs, being a performer. The way you lost is awful.
Oh, dude.
Awful.
Like
up 3-1 and you give up 2 goals with the goalie pulled. That's
this tying one was batshit insane.
I mean, just eat it. Eat it in the corner.
It was like whiff. Who was at the point there?
It was Ehlers. So the puck goes up to Ehlers, whiff, and then somehow he gets it back.
Yep.
And then good pass, whips it over. And then I don't know who shot that before Perfetti tipped it. It was Kyle.
Yeah.
But he whiffs it. And that shot's going wide. That was not a pass. That was a bad shot.
Correct.
And Perfetti just one of the sickest tips you'll ever. Two of the nastiest tips I've ever seen.
Ehlers gets the first one and goes like this. There are 5 seconds left. I literally have to get this on net.
Yeah.
Whiffs.
And we were like, game over.
And then it comes back to him, and the deranged psychosis to not think, well, I have to get this one on net. To pass that, dude, if he passed that over and the buzzer went off before that gets to the front of the net, and I go, did you just go whiff back-to-back pass as time expired? You fucking moron. but dude, and then he snapped it across, and then you're right. Kyle Connor's just doing the best he can to just get it back on frame. Like that, the decision-making there was so baffling to me. And then it ended up in the back of the net.
CP, I can't figure out if it was the most calm under pressure play of all time.
Same.
Or a full-on panic because he whiffed it and he was embarrassed and he was like, just get this
Why
puck
are you
off my stick.
passing that, dude?
But
there's no time left.
It worked out. So true dagger for St. Louis to just not eat that puck, to give up those 2 goals. You hate to see it. I felt personally once that happened, I was like, Jets are winning. Jets are winning. Yep. That is so much momentum. And you kind of called out either St. Louis wins this in the first 2 minutes of OT or it's going to be a barn burner, and fucking holy hell, did you snipe that one?
Well, I will say, dude, I thought the Blues, the first 2 minutes of OT were chaos. Jets had a couple of good chances on Binner, actually. Then for a minute, like 2 to 7, I actually thought the Blues settled in wonderfully and we're getting better chances and controlling the play. It didn't really show in the shots, but I was like, oh, the Blues have actually completely controlled this. Yeah. Then Shen took the delay game. Yeah. Fucking sucks. It is what it is.
So bad.
They almost scored. It was that insane tip that hit Binner's left toe. That was ridiculous. But after that penalty, even with the kill, sometimes the kill gives you momentum, but it didn't. After that penalty, it was all Jets. That to the point that I told everyone with us, there's the only way the Jets lose this game is if some fucking freak bounce just goes in against them. But this is over. Yeah. And it almost took 3 overtimes, but it was headed that way.
Yeah. And going on to the Jets, that's a big win. Lowry's post game was,
what a beauty.
Talking with Bones, the way he expressed how much it means to the city, how much it means to the team. Their group rallying around Hellebuck. You do think that this could be one of those storylines, the start of a storyline of they needed this.
Yep.
Could have been exactly what they needed to get over a really difficult hump like this, to kind of break the President's Trophy curse of the first round, get out of the first round that you haven't done in a while. This could have been a really important test for them. I will say, and this is not shit talk, guys. I need that to be very clear. All the Rocket men and women, this is not shit talk. This is just assessment.
All the peggers.
This is just assessment. After the 3 goals, Hellebuck locked it down. That's great. I will say the 3 goals weren't that great to give up. And also in almost 5 full periods of Stanley Cup playoff hockey, the Blues, I don't even think got 30 shots. Dude. So that wasn't great.
Yeah.
It's not like that was faced with adversity, a dominant performance. So I'm not saying there's anything to be panicked about, but you're still waiting for that really strong, confident performance from Hellebuck to get that mind right, to get you feeling like he's back.
Is there a chance though? And I don't know, but a lot of people in the chat are being like, like you said, there weren't a lot of shots. The Jets D was really stepping up in front of him, blocking shots, keeping him shots away from him. But I think that there was that one play super early in OT. Remember, there was a bad turnover and it was like Walker, like somebody right in front. Yeah. And it hit the post too. Like Kelly got a piece, hit the post. I don't know. But he just looked better in overtime than he did literally all series.
Very true.
Literally all series, except rebound, maybe game 2.
I think it was Kyrou maybe.
Yeah.
But that rebound save was big.
Late. There's a chance. There's a small chance that Helly in overtime got locked in where he was like, okay, I'm sorry. Like I was puking on myself.
You are a
and
man.
He beat, and I'm a
you are.
Man.
Like you're in.
And he beat Binner, dude. Like that's the gold medal matchup again. You know, where he clipped you last time, and he's like, and Binner's the guy. Do I look fucking nervous? That's the guy that you fear in these moments. I said that, but dude, he beat him, and he made the saves when he needed to, and he faced way less shots. Binner was actually nasty, and I have to give him so much credit. He played a tremendous series and game 7. Yeah. And that shot that went in hit 15 fucking bodies in front.
Unbelievable.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with that. But there's just a chance that Helly can now breathe, exhale, go to round 2 and see what happens. Yeah. Now, if he gets lit the fuck up by Dallas in game 1 and gets yanked, then we got a whole new bag of issues. We can forget about Mom for a while. We got a whole new bag of issues. But for right now, dude, I recommend he goes and finds that tree liquor and find your hooch and take a deep breath.
Find your hooch, take a sip, and enjoy. So the Jets move on. Great season from the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, let's give another just quick stick tap to that because the run to get into the playoffs and then going down 2-0 and fighting back to that, the end sucks so much. There's been so many funny videos. Dr. Locks has been sending us all these TikToks of Blues fans filming the last few seconds.
Yeah.
And it is a dagger to watch. I feel horrible. But once you can take a breath, head held so high, I would say highest of the Wild were good, but I would still say highest of the wild card teams, right? Like for the 4 wild card teams, I think if you're St. Louis against the President's Trophy Jets, you go, look what we did.
Definitely. This is a playoff law. I mean, there's a funny thing, right? There are teams who get eliminated, Colorado, for example, and they come home and they're not partying, putting their feet up, being like, oh, fucking season's over, boy. Like, you sit down and you're pissed for a night or two. This is not one of those.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I hope you guys are getting absolutely cranked right now because great season, future is bright. Yash in the chat asked if we're going to do any predictions today. We are going to do predictions today. Sorry, it's not on the ticker, but we are getting into the start of round 2 tonight. Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to discuss that right now. But after that, the entirety of round 2 previews will be recorded tonight. Yes. After that game in our podcast episode tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. Make sure that you're dialing in on all of our episodes that come out Tuesday and Thursday, because we'll do the full preview of that and that episode tomorrow morning. However, for now, we're going to get into a preview.
And just real quick, the things on the Jets I wanted to hit are the Scheifele-Morrissey stuff.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I just don't know. And I just looked. I don't know if it's upper body for Morrissey, but he did not come back after playing 2 minutes.
Correct.
Dude, and we got to shout out.
Dude, I think 46-36 of ice time in that game. Dude, 46 minutes.
How are you, Pionk?
Neil Pionk, dude, just playing the whole fucking game.
Dude.
And he looked sick, too. He was so all over the place.
Dude, that was fucking epic. So many. I love when a game ends and everybody on the team, every time the mic's in front of them, they're like, how about Pionk, dude? Like, that's all they could talk about.
Did you see that?
What a performance. Gritty moment. And his boy Morrissey goes out. So if Scheifele and Morrissey are not playing, that's a huge dagger. But I think, Dan, it'll be kind of interesting to see a Robo, Miro, Scheifele, Morrissey. You know, like the both of those guys are missing their top goal scorer and their best defenseman.
It's a wild mirror image, if you will.
Really
to
strange.
See that going
on. Obviously, I hope they're all back.
Yeah, bring them all back.
I also want to say this. Noah said this in the chat. Someone called it up, but this is hilarious. He's obviously a Stars fan, but this is true because this happens to the Stars all the time. Noah goes, the Dallas Stars could play for the entire sake of the world against aliens, death being pointed at Earth, win, and the NHL would still talk about the aliens performing badly rather than the Stars. Like, it's always the narrative where, like, the Avs really fucking choked that, dude. Like, no one is ever like,
did we do that? No, I feel like we were giving the Stars flowers this whole time.
We did it in a couple clips in the week because I still stand by. I'm like,
the
Avs blew the series.
This is bad.
They're missing 2 guys,
but we're Dallas was nasty. We talked about Rantanen so heavily.
Yep,
but that's funny.
And then also, before we do our predictions, I want to say our results round.
Yes. 1. Let's do it.
So let's see. Let's start in the East.
Yeah. Toronto.
I had Leafs in 7.
I had Sens in 7 to be for the story.
And it was Leafs in 6.
Yeah.
Then we both had I had Tampa 7.
Same.
Cats in an effortless 5.
A shit pumping.
Jesus.
Put the clown nose back on.
I had Caps in 5.
I had Caps in 6.
Caps in 5.
Yep.
And then I had Canes in 4.
I had Canes in 5.
And it was Canes. So we got I had Leafs, Caps, Canes, missed horribly on Tampa. You had Caps, Canes.
Yeah.
And then in the West, we'll start Central. I had Jets in 5.
I had Jets in 7.
It was. We both had Avs in 7.
Yeah.
Stars. And God bless you.
Yeah. And that was a coin flip one.
Yeah. Then we had Kings in 7. Fuck me.
Dude, fucking idiots.
And then
idiots.
And I had Vegas in 4 like a dick, and you had Vegas in something.
I believe I took Vegas in 6.
So I got Vegas and Jets, but it was harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Missed on Avs, missed badly on Kings.
Yeah.
And same with you.
Yeah.
So we got 5 of 8. Or I got 5 of 8. You got 4 of 8.
Yeah.
Not bad. I don't know where Mandy's at. Mandy had a perfect bracket going. I think she needed the Avs though, if memory serves.
I think that's right.
Dude, by the way, you know how not every team, but like some teams have a thing they yell in the anthem. Like Vegas yells night, and the Stars have been yelling star. And I'm like, that's amazing. Cool. Winnipeg. Winterfell yelling true north
is the coolest.
It's fucking sick, dude.
That's why they're
so
Winterfell.
Sick.
I genuinely think that I have made this up. Like no one has done this and called them. You guys are Winterfell.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's incredible.
The North remembers.
Incredible.
Let's get into our preview.
Okay.
We have first game of round 2 tonight in Toronto at Scotiabank. The Florida Panthers head up to play the Maple Leafs. And on 3.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm ready.
Carson just caught that random Always Sunny reference, and I love you for it.
Carson,
Carson, if you aren't aware yet, I am literally Dennis Reynolds.
Yeah.
And it's not a good fact for me, but it's the case.
I think I'm ready. Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Panthers in 6. Wow, nice.
Doctor,
how are you, sir?
Doctor. I feel like I'm the biggest Leaf drum banger this season.
Yeah,
even
you were.
Preseason, going into playoffs, everybody at this office talking shit about me, but I'm like telling you, man, the Leafs are different this year. The Leafs are different this year, and I think they are. I just think this Panthers team looks so much not tired, so much healthier than we thought they might be. Yeah. They got through Tampa pretty quickly. And I don't even mean that's how good they are. I'm saying like in terms of wear and tear.
Yeah.
If that had been a 7-game slugfest like we kind of thought it would be, I might feel differently.
Such an important point.
Bob has had some time off here, you know. I just fear that Florida looks better at pretty much every level. Not by a ton, but it's like, oh, obviously I'm taking Bob over Stoley, right?
Yeah.
And then your superstars, like Austin Matthews is fucking bright, shining star, score 70 goals. But like the Panthers have guys that are pumping in goals. Panthers have a bit heavier D, the special teams, everything about it. I'm just like, God, I just don't know how it's not Florida.
I want to shout out Elliot Friedman, the GOAT. He posted something today, a little bit of a report talking about the Florida-Tampa series, and he said that he talked to someone who felt that the Tampa team, quote, felt intimidated by Florida.
Yeah.
Like, it's really rare that you see that actually happen or hear that it has happened, but it sounds like after the Hagel response, Tampa felt rattled by this Florida team. And I just think if that Tampa team is going to get intimidated on and off the ice and a little bit rattled, I could see that happening with this Toronto team. This Toronto team historically does not respond well to bruising, physical, nasty play. They don't play dirty. They don't really have guys that are going to mix it up in that dirty, get in the mud, get fucking disgusting and get some grit under your fingernails, have your ears pulled off. They don't thrive in that. And Florida lives in that. That is where they live. They were fucking born in the mud of the Everglades, dude. And Toronto is not going to love that game. And I can just only imagine that that's exactly what the Panthers are going to do.
Is it possible that, though, the Lightning's history with the Panthers was a part of that?
Definitely.
Like, you get caught up, and you know how they always say rivalry games in like college football or college basketball are close, even when one team's having an awesome year? Because you're just like, well, it's Duke UNC, and like they fucking hate each other so much. I think part of the intimidation that the Tampa Bay Lightning clearly felt was they were like, here we fucking go again. Oh my God. Like everyone was picking us. Now this team's fucking bullying us. There's a chance that the Leafs are just too dumb. They're too dumb to even feel that, dude. Like they don't know what's going on. They've never been this far before. They don't even know where they are right now, dude. So they just show up and like the Panthers are like, well, we're the mean Panthers and it's playoffs. And the Leafs are like, dude, I fucking am high as shit. I'm in the second round. I don't give a fuck. And they just play loose.
I think that when they won 2 years ago, they beat Tampa in round 1.
They beat
in 6.
They beat Tampa in 6 and then got absolutely smacked by the Panthers.
Did they get swept or was it
they chose gentlemen? They lost the first 3 and then I think they won game 4 in overtime and then lost game 5.
So I think that they're still
all at home. By the way,
I don't
like they got pumped at home.
I don't think that they're too dumb. I think they know exactly what is going on. I think they know exactly, our year, this and that. If they just come into this series and get tallywhacked again. They know the narrative. It's not like this is completely uncharted territory.
Yeah, true.
So I think that the Panthers are going to play that game. There's no secret. Toronto is going into this game knowing exactly what Florida is going to come at them with. I think this game is super important. Can you imagine if Toronto wins this first game?
Well, that's what I was about to say, dude.
Can you imagine? I don't think Florida will be rattled at all, but just the piss and vinegar it'll inject into this Toronto team will be remarkable if they can steal this game. And I can't believe I'm saying steal when you were the best team in the Atlantic and you're at home, but that is what it'll be for sure.
Well, dude, and I think even though I have talked so much shit about this, the Berube thing, if it was ever going to matter, literally ever, it is this specific series. Like if the Craig Berube hire was going to do fuck all for you and change the culture of the Leafs, it was literally if you ever ran into the Florida Panthers in the playoffs. Not regular season, not against the fucking Senators and their forecheck, which I also was like, oh, they're so tough. It's this team who is just going to fucking pound you into submission as they have done before, as they've done to pretty much everybody they play. Yep. So obviously Berube's not out on the ice making plays, but if he can just get the boys into that mindset that they've really never been in before, then you got a stew going, maybe.
For sure. Everything we saw in that game 6, as you pointed out, is what you want to see as a Leafs fan. Responding to that tying goal, getting that win, not letting it get to 7, all signs are pointing in the right direction. And that is a very good thing. I think this series is so impossibly different. I do not think, after the first 3 games, I said on the pod, there's a chance that we boosted this Sens team, that they are not as good as a lot of us thought. And then they won a couple games, and that's amazing. But the stark difference between that Senators team and this Florida Panthers team is absurd.
Oh, yeah.
And to your point, the fact that they took care of Tampa in 5 games for a couple of reasons. One, that Tampa team is very good.
Yes.
So to dismiss them in 5 was astounding. 2, like you said, there's not a lot of wear and tear on those bodies after those 5 games. Mm-hmm. So you're without Ekblad.
I was going to say, is he still sussy for
that
one
game? This is his second game
funny.
of the suspension. So you're without Ekblad, but Florida took care of 2 games without Ekblad in the first series. Yep. So we know that they can win without him. In the regular season, Florida won 3 of 4. All were pretty close games except for a game in November where they won 5-1. But, they seem to have the advantage here. And yeah, if this game gets gritty and nasty early, I think that is going to be tough sledding for the Leafs.
It's crazy. So someone says, here it is. Shazi. Matthews and Willie missed games last time they met when they lost the second round. True. Also, better decor, better goalie now. True.
So
I think that's important. Also,
keep grasping at those straws, Leafs fans.
No,
keep grasping.
But I would also push back on that Panthers team. That was that wild card Panthers team that was upset the Bruins and then, upset the Bruins. And it was like, wait, are we good? I think this Florida team is better than that team too, for a million reasons. And then a bunch of people in the chat bringing this up, the Marchand factor.
It is so, if you are a tortured Leafs fan, one of the realistic ones who just feels like you forever live in turmoil, the fact that Brad Marchand is on this ice, you're like, are you
fucking kidding me?
But you have Carlo.
Yep.
You do have Carlo. Cancels it out.
Interesting. Great
it's
point.
It's going to confuse Marshy.
Marshy doesn't like that at all, dude. Okay, that's very interesting. If Marshy gets going, though, that will be such a dagger. And he's playing well, good assist. But if he starts scoring goals,
if Marshy scores tonight, Cats in 3.
But dude,
Toronto will forfeit.
We're forgetting that this is in Toronto.
And they're nasty.
Yeah,
this team is nasty.
Very
this
good.
Year.
Do they need to win?
This is a must-win game, 100%. This is a must-win game for Toronto.
It might be. Are both is what I was going to say.
I think
you need to leave Toronto.
You know what's fucked? How about this, dude? We've never said this before. And how about this? I think every game of this series is must-win for Toronto.
Yeah, you have to win every game.
You have to win literally every game.
Yep. If you lose, you're fucked.
I do believe this Panthers team doesn't care about anything. Mm-hmm. I think if they lose this game, they go, whatever. It's an away game. If they lose game 2, they go, whatever. We'll win. You got to come to Florida now. You don't think we're going to steal one? And that's terrifying. Every game is must-win for Toronto.
I love that take, dude. I think that Florida too feeds and feasts on and I was about to say weakness, and I don't mean to say Toronto's weak or bad. They're not.
Oh, it's fear.
But it's dude. Like
I don't need to do the Bruce impression again. It is fear. They smell blood.
Panthers feast on fear, and they are. I do know that. I'm not even sure the Leafs are afraid yet. And maybe there's a chance with their new attitude, but I think that if things start to turn at all, the fear spread for my Stormlights people will come out. The fear spread will come out, and then the Panthers will fucking gobble that shit up.
I was going to go nerdy reference too. I think Paul Maurice and the Panthers are Ra's al Ghul, dude. They are spreading fear throughout the city. They are going to feast on it, and that is absolutely their MO.
Dude, Toronto will fall.
Oh my gosh, like Rome or Constantinople before it. It will crumble.
The city will crumble, dude, because it's a disgusting place, and it needs to.
It is. We love Toronto.
No, I love Toronto.
It is wild how distinctly this team feasts on any sign of weakness or fear. And I don't think Leafs fans would be upset with us to say that historically this group, your core, they get spooked, dude.
Yeah. Correct.
Austin, Mitch, Willie, Tavares, Morgan, they get the spooks kind of easily. And I think this year might be a little different. Our year, Frankie Boy, Illuminati, we've got all the signs. But if there's a team to spook you, it's Florida.
It's Florida. And somebody's got to beat them, right? Like if you're going to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. They got to lose eventually.
Hannah text in the chat just said Empty Netters Book Club when. Hannah, you have no idea how many book clubs are in.
You be careful,
Hannah. We'll invite you to a fantasy book club before you fucking know it.
God, I got to get Hannah on a group chat with some other people.
Seriously.
You got to beat the champs, dude, and someone's going to get them, right? Like I don't think Florida's going to win the next 4 Stanley Cups. Someone's going to clip them.
Yeah.
And it's always a surprise when they lose. You're like, oh shit, did not see that coming. Did not see the Avs losing to the fucking Kraken, to the Spunk that year. Didn't see Vegas losing to Dallas or whoever the fuck beat them. You know, like this shit happens. Toronto just has to ride the wave. Like I think here's a better way to say it, Dan. I don't think Toronto can be chasing this series ever. Like if they can get leads,
very well said,
in games and in series, then I'm like, you might do it.
Yeah,
I'm still scared, but you might do it. But if they start going down and it's like, oh shit, Florida's up 2-1, and you get in these like I gotta win games, I just think Florida is too deep, too experienced, and dude, they can play like however you need them to. Remember last year, it's like, 6-5 game against the Rangers. 2-1 OT game. Like they can grind you down. They can outscore you, whatever you need. It's just a tough ask to get by them.
No question about it. And I am so prepared for how physical this game is going to be. I think they're prepared as well. Yep. Toronto's not stupid. And Berube is the guy to drive into their skull. I think big differences in this year is Brandon Carlo being added, Tanev being added back there. I think that's huge. But Matty Nice.
Dude, be the boy.
Matty Nice, game changer in that first round. He doesn't give a shit. We're references out the ass today. A little Babadook reference right there. Jesus, we're getting dark. But Matty Nyes is a player who's going to have no worries mixing it up with the Bennetts, the Marchands, the Kachucks. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a tilt in this series.
Ooh,
maybe someone
early.
Try to set the tone early, show that you won't be pushed around, won't be bullied. That might be the move for Toronto.
Yep.
You should almost maybe start it, but we might see what we saw with Hagel trying to go with guys and on this Florida team. They were like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah,
we're going to beat you up anyway. So prepare for a super physical series. That is going to be the key difference maker for me, why I think that Florida has the edge here. I've been welcomed back into the Cats family. I never left, and I never should have left.
It feels warm here, to be honest.
It's so warm. It's humid. I'm at elbow room. I love gas and beers.
I am in elbow room in my mind already. Oh, unfortunately.
So I'm all
that's
in.
Interesting.
But Leafs, I do love you. I have so much love for that city, and you fans are absolutely insane. But here's the thing. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Yep.
It is. And as we've said, you cannot show fear. Fear will kill you.
I think I was looking forward, if Toronto got out, this was the series I was looking forward to the most, that second round Atlantic series.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be the winner of the Florida battle, and then the Leafs, who I think are a tremendous team in that, like, okay, we're in round 2. What's up now? Playing one of these juggernauts.
Yeah.
Because I think you had said, or somebody, but like, you kind of, or maybe it was Frank, you kind of feel like if you win this series, you got a really good shot at going to the Cup.
If you are Toronto, I'm here to say this.
Yep.
If you are the Toronto Maple Leafs and you win this series against the Florida Panthers,
Yep.
you are going to the Stanley Cup. I'm not saying you're going to win, but
Yep.
I am saying you are going to the Stanley
Yep.
Cup. You will make it to the third round for the first time in your life.
Oh my God.
Did I say first or third?
You said third round
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah. And you will go to the Stanley Cup. There is one team standing in your way of going to a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Know that.
Use that. Think about that.
All right, babes, we've hit our hour mark, so that's going to do it for this live episode of Empty Netters Puckline News, brought to you by BetMGM. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube, guys. So many of you are watching right now, and you're not subscribed just because you didn't realize that you weren't. You just got to hit that subscribe button on our page. It helps us. It helps you. Make sure you're following us on all the socials as we go through the playoffs here. Episodes of the podcast dropping every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Our lives will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't miss anything. We love you guys. We are getting into round 2 tonight. Toronto, Florida, and then we will get into all of our previews in the podcast episode tomorrow. Until we see you.